Walls are an easy way to upgrade our homes. Oftentimes, we don't pay them much attention. They're usually or typically the last thing we think about. What we're doing is leaving so much on the table. And so, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 ways to upgrade your boring wall to make your room look like wow. Hey, my loves, welcome back. How are you all? I hope you're all doing well. So in today's video, we are talking about ways to elevate the walls in our homes just so that they have a bit more interest. We're in the day and age of just having display units, a little bit like I have in the background everywhere. Now, I don't hate display units because again, clearly you can see I have one in the background, but it's not for every room. And there are so many more interesting ways that you can elevate your walls. Starting with number one, you have got to pick a focal point. Like, we have drawn away from this focal point thing, but it is very important. Pick that focal point and the thing that is going to command the most attention in the room, because there lives the opportunity for your room to read as wow. And this wow is where your eye is going to land and is going to help your room to read more elevated. It's going to help your home read more elevated. Now, granted, not every single room has to have something that is a focal point, but I think some rooms may have a more grander focal point, and some rooms can have a bit more of a subtle focal point. But I do think that you do need to think about your focal point and think about which wall in my room, in my house, is going to have the biggest wow factor and what am I actually going to do there. So once you figured out that, okay, I need a focal point, what are the options of things that I can actually place on the wall to create a focal point? Well, art, as an example, could be something that goes on the wall. The art on the wall should be about 2 to 3 thirds the width of the furniture that is below it. This is the typical interior design recommendation for getting the proportions right, because I've mentioned about proportions before in the past as one thing that can make your room read as cheap or your home read as cheap is getting the proportions of your artwork wrong. And it's an easy mistake to make, but one that you can also easily correct once you know. So 2 to 3 thirds of the side of the furniture beneath it would really make it stand out, give it that wow factor, but not make it so big that it's overwhelming the space. The third way that you can elevate your boring wall is by using textured paint finishes. These are things like lime wash paint. These are things like micro cement effect type of coverings over like a flat matte layer. And this reads more interesting, it reads more high-end, it reads as different, because the majority of us, we just throw a paint at the wall and call it a day, right? So anyone who's brave enough to try lime wash paint and, you know, this cement effect, wall effect, as long as it matches with your interior design style, this can be a very, very interesting way of elevating your home. I don't know where we're at with the lime wash paints yet, but I'm really hoping that they have now started creating lime wash paints that you can actually wipe. Because if you are a parent and you want to go for lime wash paint, be careful, because some of them you can't actually wipe them clean because they're matte. They just kind of absorb the dirt. And what you don't want is a beautifully lime wash paint wall, and the minute your toddler touches it, it's over for you, okay? So you want to pick these things as they fit into your lifestyle. But if you're a single individual or in an individual with older children who are, you know, smart enough to know better, or you can find lime wash paint that is now wipeable, that would be an amazing way to elevate the home. It kind of gives that like tea stained look, kind of gives that old world look. It's a beautiful way of elevating your home and creating interest. Again, that is not just a blank boring wall. The next way to elevate the walls in your home is to have interesting objects on your walls. Some people do this by displaying their plates on their walls. So they may choose a few intricate plates that they want to display. And there are plate hangers actually that you can buy from Amazon and hang some of your most interesting plates on the walls as a design. If that is giving a bit too much granny for you and you don't want to do that, then what can you do? You can have interesting objects that you actually hang on the wall to create a beautiful display. And the good thing with these types of displays is they create shadows, which adds depth into the room. You don't want everything in your room to be flat. like if everything is flat and there aren't shadows and depth in the room, again, it can make the room read as cheap. Make the room not read as, that someone put in enough effort. It might make the room feel like something is missing, and that's all because the room is flat. So if you want to add some depth, some shadows, bring that into the room, what you can do is find interesting, intricate items to put on the walls and display on the walls that can create that depth and shadows, and that will help to elevate your wall. Another way to elevate your walls is to think carefully about how you're placing your lighting fixtures onto the wall and how the light hits the wall, because the ceiling lights can sometimes just make everything look flat, everything looks samey. But the moment you place a wall sconce on your wall at a particular height, it may then highlight certain parts of the walls, again, creating shadows and flooding light on a particular sculpture, a particular thing that sits beneath the wall that you want to highlight. But again, and also highlight the color on the wall, highlight the wallpaper on the wall, which we will touch on later on. So wall sconces, as well as other forms of lighting, can be an amazing way to really give interest to your wall space, especially at night. A lot of people tend to put some LED lights inside or behind their trees. So if you have a tree in your room, you can put some lighting in there, and at night it will kind of glow and create shadows and illuminate whatever is on the wall of where the tree is also standing. So these are different ways to really elevate the walls in and around our homes. That is not just throw paint and call it a day. Yes, that's easy, but if you really want your home to have that wow factor, you've got to put in the extra effort. The next one is fabric or textile wall coverings. This is a journey, okay? You can be here or you can be all the way up here where you're having these hand painted on silk textures that go on the walls. But for me, I would simply say even wallpapers can go a long way in bringing in texture. You just want to make sure you're picking your wallpapers more carefully. You don't want to pick too many geometric patterns, too many crazy patterns with the wallpaper, too many little tiny patterns on the wallpaper. No, if you want your wallpaper to read more elevated, try have larger pieces on the wallpaper with more clear space in between, if that's making sense. Hopefully I can show you a couple of pictures to show you what I mean. Instead of having tiny little repeated patterns of trees, you can have one large tree that spans across the room. And so you have more free space in between that branch of the tree. And so that can read more high-end than having, a wallpaper with little patterns of leaves. And the benefits of these type of wall coverings is that they can also help acoustically. So when you enter a room where the whole room is like wallpapered, or there's fabric all over the walls, the sound is a whole lot better because it's absorbing sound. So if you have a home where there's a lot of noise and you just need that room that's going to be a bit more better acoustically, one of the ways to do it is to have, maybe a textured wallpaper all over the room, or a fabric, wallpaper all over the room. The next way to elevate your boring walls is to place mirrors, large mirrors that can reflect back a beautiful, imagery somewhere in your room, okay? Because we don't just want to put mirrors anywhere and everywhere. Sometimes we make the mistakes of just putting mirrors wherever, and we don't think about what is this mirror actually reflecting. So you want to pick something beautiful that the mirror can reflect, and then place your mirror opposite of that. And this can help to expand smaller looking rooms, or just maybe a big room that you want it to look bigger. But mirrors are another things that you can put on the wall that will instantly elevate your room if you're choosing the right style of mirror. And for mirrors, I will say, think about the framing very carefully. If the framing is very simple and that's what you're looking for, great. But you can also go for mirrors with more intricate framings, with more details and more ornate style mirrors, or even things like églimise mirrors, which have that old world look, a little bit of a more stained look to them. They are not as clear. There is a point to them actually, because some people are like, oh my god, these people have like dirty mirrors in their homes. It's like, no, that's the style. It's actually made to look like is dirty and old. Anyway, some people will get it, some people might not, but it is a type of mirror style that is really used a lot in more high-end homes. So that is an option. But mirrors, if you're not utilizing mirrors, Add that to your list, girl. Add that to your list. You need some mirrors somewhere in the home on your walls, because there's only so many paints and so much wallpapering that you can do. You've got to also introduce mirrors. They are an affordable way to elevate your walls. The last recommendation for elevating your beautiful walls is actually just leaving some walls as they are. Okay, some walls don't need paneling. Oh, did I forget paneling? Of course. Good. Listen, paneling is everywhere currently, so we all know that that's an option for us, right? Okay, good. But some walls don't need everything on them. Okay, sometimes you got to let some walls in your room breathe. It's not every wall that has to have something, because once you're having too many things all over your walls, it's beginning to read too much, right? Remember, we also edit our spaces. Elevated home have rooms to breathe. They're not everything all in one because I'm trying to show what a great interior designer I am, and how good I am at this and what I can afford. We have got to leave some walls as they are, give them room to breathe, maybe a little bit of molding here and there, and then we're just leaving them alone. We're leaving them alone. So as much as I recommend all of this to you, if you want your home to read elevated, some walls have got to be left alone. Not have nothing on them. Just let them breathe, okay? And make sure you're balancing that, okay? And once you have that beautiful balance, you're going to see that your room does really read intentional and read elevated, and it's not like too much happening, okay? So, ladies and gents, if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. I have really enjoyed discussing this with you guys today, because this is also something I'm thinking really carefully about. I'm actually planning what's going to go on all of the walls and which walls I'm going to leave empty before I even start doing anything. So you also have got to make sure you put this into a plan, and you make sure it makes sense for the interior design style that you're doing, that you're going for, and the feel that you want in your home. This cannot just be, oh, I like a bit of that, get it. I like a bit of that, get it. I like a bit of that. Again, we are always intentional with our interior design. So put a plan together, and hopefully this video has given you the options that you have and what you can use to elevate your home. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. I will see you in my next one. And don't forget to share this video with other interior design lovers that you know in your life, and let's elevate our homes together. See you in my next ones, my love. Bye-bye for now.